In the pre-industrial age, colonies were separated by the north and south. In the north, lifestyle mainly revolved around the town and meeting house where the roots of democracy arose since people of the town got to vote. It also focused on small businesses where fishing, whaling, lumbering, and artisan jobs such as blacksmiths and merchants dominated the occupation world. They had small plots of farmland since dense forests prohibited them from fully incorporating commercial agriculture. In the South, lifestyle revolved around plantations owned by the wealthy elite who owned indentured servants and slaves to perform labor for them. Since they had the suitable climate and geography, there were large plots of farmland that had cash crops. Most occupations pertained to agriculture since it was such a significant part of the southern industry. For trade in the pre-industrial U.S., it revolved around mercantilism. Mercantilism meant that for profit, there needed to be more imported items than exported in an effort to gain finished products to sell. It involved trading between the colony and mother country, who benefited from this process. The colony provided raw materials for the mother country to create into products able to be finished for the colony to sell. This involved more money and less work for the mother country, making it worrisome that a colony might rebel to these rules.
Starting in the early 19th century, the United States underwent an industrial revolution. The work that many people did changed as they moved from farms to small workshops into larger factories. They began to purchase things in stores rather than to make them at home. The people also began to use machines in factories to make their production faster and more efficient. Instead of one person completing a whole task, a single worker would do one part of the job, while another worker would do another part, and so on. There was no longer a reason to be a skilled worker, because the factories hired unskilled workers, and the factories took over the little craftsmen's skills. One thing that was invented was the cotton gin, and it made the cotton process a lot simpler than ever before. The machine would grind out all the seeds from the cotton made by Eli Whitney, which was easier than one by one picking out the seeds, and it saved time and the amount of workers. The cotton gin was not the only invention that changed in the early industry. Many famous inventors played a huge part creating machines such as the steel plow, the telegraph, the telephone, and many more. In late industrialization, the business idea grew big along the United States population. The big business made things like trusts, which were a combination of components to gain control of an industry, and this was created to reduce the competition. One big business that did this was the Standard Oil run by Rockefeller. Another thing that Rockefeller, along with many other companies, did was integrate both vertically and horizontally. By joining together businesses that are involved in different but related activities and engaging in similar businesses, the work was easier and it made more money for the company. The customers had what they needed all in the same place. These big businesses took over many small businesses and other companies that weren't involved in their trust. America was known for being the free land, which is why, in late industrialization, many immigrants from places such as Ireland, Germany, and China started to come to the United States. They settled mainly in cities of New York and Boston to find work in the factories and to get away from the persecution back in their home countries. In America, they found nativism as their main problem. Soon, more and more immigrants from places like Russia and Australia came over to settle, and the United States population increased dramatically. Political machines were another thing. The machine politicians would do anything to have the public vote for them. Some things they did to help people was to help them out of jail, get them money or shelter, provide jobs, and told illegal immigrants that they could help them become U.S. citizens. They abused their position by padding the voting list, bribing, stealing, kickbacks, and they controlled the police and court systems.
Assembly lines were one of the big changes in the post-industrial time. They took one big task and made it into a bunch of smaller tasks that were automated. This created more jobs for workers, and it made the process faster and more efficient. This also was a cheaper way to make products, making the cost of the product go down and more affordable for customers to buy, making the economy better. Later in the post-industrial age, factories were moving overseas to other countries because it was cheaper for the companies to produce products. This made it so workers had to find new jobs. This created service jobs. Service jobs included the food industry, medical staff, safety crew, teachers, and insurance companies. Ford came out with the first car that was called the Model T during the post-industrial period. This car changed the geography of America. This made it so people could move away from the city to suburban areas and travel back and forth from work. This made roads and highways. This created more jobs along the highways and roads. These jobs included gas stations, hotels, auto repair shops, and restaurants.